Well, hello there, everybody. It is Thursday. I don't know. It's probably one of the two or all of the above. Hmm. Well, whatever a day it is for you, trust it's a good one. Speaking favor over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Best place to be mentally. It's all mental. The very first principle says the universe is mental. So I'm completely behind that. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I do know you have other places to go, and it's an honor that you choose this place. So, thank you. Bring a lot of joy, you know, as the late Jimmy Durante used to sing, just make one person happy and you've changed the world. Yeah, we don't see it that way sometimes, but sometimes that word spoken at the right time, wow, the Rhema comes through, the Logos becomes aware, and good things happen. Some call it magic. I think it's as good a definition of what magic is. So, anyway, so what's up, everybody? Hello, Deborah. Good to see you, darling. Grace, how are you? Grace's favor. Just wanted that. Mary Wins, how are you, honey? Greedy, good to see you. And Paul, Joe, and El Gapo, what's up? DC, good to see you as well. Ormond, good to see you as well. Rick, what's up? Happy Thursday. There you go. I like that. What else? Did I miss anyone else up here earlier? There were some few people that tuned in earlier. Mark and SB. Saw that in there. Hey, appreciate it. Kim, sound good vibes. Yeah. Yeah. So I enjoyed yesterday's meeting with Judith. Very interesting what is happening around the world. And as we look at it, it seems like everybody is operating off of the same script. Maybe different variations of a theme, but it's still the theme. Weird. That's all I got to say. Millie, what's up? Good to see you. Jessica, hello. Long time no see. You be right. Well, how are you? Looking good. Hey, Purgatory Traveler, what's up? Good to see you. I know probably Gaia's in there somewhere, and I think Go and anyway, Blazing River and Gilbert, what's up, brother? Even if I don't even see your name, I know you'll be listening. So I'm speaking from your past, which is actually your future, but it's my past. Around and around and around we go. Hey, Mr. Floyd, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. So, Paul Joe says, one world order. They think it's a big idea. No, it's been around for a whole long time. Man, that tea tastes good today. Barbara, how are you? See, I told you Gilbert was here. All right, Gilbert. So it's not the future. Maybe we're all just living in the present, because it's up here that makes it real, right? It's like a question about sin. So, how can there be sin? Let's just pretend here for a minute. So, we'll go with the myth of about a thing called Adam, right? The thing that we never get the chance to really fully grasp is, well, A, we don't know how old he was, but two, we have no idea what his mental condition was. We have no idea how he perceived things. And that's the weird thing about sin. I mean, if let's just say one brain, although it's a brain, is a different from another brain, wouldn't you say that? So how can you say what one thing would apply to this brain when this brain over here doesn't even make sense? It's non-relevant. Just saying. Just saying. We are in the midst of a revolution. Read another story today that, the Chinese now are really pushing AI. I mean, because we have no idea what other countries do. I mean, if you're in a sick mind where you think communism is somehow a holy thing, imagine what your programmers would program. It would be considered alien and hostile to someone in the West. But it's AI. And so we got our version of AI. Now, our AI says, we don't like those guys in the red hat. Anyway, the point being, um, they now have artificial intelligence embedded into their robotics, which, and they're doing these tests, cognitive recognition tests, the things that we take um, to find out just how smart are you? How quickly do you grasp concepts, perceptions? Do you have the ability to separate? And this machine is doing it faster than humans are. The rise of the machines. And then you got this whole thing with mind viruses. Viruses are probably the oldest life form known. And viruses have the weird way because they come in very subtly, you know, quietly, stealth. But yet a mind virus can alter its host thoughts. So the mind is subjective to viruses, foreign and otherwise. The mind is easily tricked. The mind has the weird thing that it's more likely to adapt a delusion as opposed to what would be considered true reality, whatever the hell that is. And with that, our minds then begin to create illusions. For instance, we could have the illusion that we think that we're all meeting in a place, but yet we're meeting in no place at all. But our minds consider it real. That's why movies, humans, they have always sought to fight off the greatest enemy, boredom. So we seek to entertain ourselves. And by entertaining ourselves, we have on a split second, we immediately can put ourselves into the script of a movie, music, politicians, politics, religion. Technology today is a religion. Politics today is a religion. But a religion is an illusion brought on by the delusion of our minds being tricked by a virus. Oh, come on. That was clever. You see how I did that forward, backwards? Mm-hmm. So I guess it is true that the first principle, it is all mental. Now, having said that, we humans were so easily controlled, easily manipulated. And that's why you can never be so sure of yourself. You always have to do the checklist, Whatever that checklist is, I'm not sure, but we all have one. Just saying. Jules, how are you doing? This is the land of confusion and illusion. Indeed, it is. Susie Q, hello, Lady Ellie. Good to see you. Robert V is in the house. How are you, Robert? Good to see you. And Emperor Rex, hello. Mark, how are you doing? All Joe's there. So it's true. It really is. We are and have been always controlled by one form or another. When you're brought into this world, the thing that you have to learn is that you have to conform. And to conform means that you then adapt control. You're controlled. You're told how to speak, how to talk. You're told values by those around you. Again, we talked about, we're going to get back into it, mind control. It's all mind control. And the thing about being controlled is that we're controlled by both seen and unseen forces. We speak of government as an entity, but really a government is an illusion. Its cohesion exists because we believe it exists. And therefore, we conform and are controlled. But governments are made up of individuals. And the weird thing is about bureaucrats, they're not like you and I. Their minds have been captured. They follow a force, you could say a god or gods, that is above every other human being. They lack empathy because they become molded into this mind virus. There are people who will give their lives to their political party. We've seen it in religion, but it's one and the same thing. It's control. And the other thing that we've talked about many times here, and I learned this long, long time ago, apparently they can't do anything, they being ambiguous in its definition, because we really don't know who they are. We just believe and think and maybe know that they do exist. But anyway, it is said, hey, Esley, good to see you off the hook. Hello, Joe Mack. They can't do anything without first telling us. Well, that's weird. So then that means, that tells you how gullible we are. All right. It's like, okay, not a problem. I'm right there. Hey, Elderberry, what's up? Good to see you. But it's true. So, talking about the mind, everything is mental. Whether you believe there is a God or there's a consciousness or there's something, if you believe that there's a Satan, if you believe there's angels, there's demons, doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If you believe it's real, you'll make it real, even if it's in your mind. Okay, let me figure that one out. There we go. Hey, Bonnie, what's up, Nunu? Good to see you. So we showed the picture of Charles, right? Weird. I mean, it makes you think about, well, where's his head at? And how, and yeah, getting back to that mental thing with Adam. So how can it be their sin? I mean, how does sin apply universally to diverse groups of minds? Unless we're all part of the hive. Resistance is futile. We are the Borg, you know. So I went back. Rod, how are you doing? Good to see you. And I put together a little montage of pictures, paintings, and how there are messages inside paintings. There's painting inside of paintings. We're going to see about Da Vinci. He was a master at this. Not even sure that Da Vinci was human. I mean, he very well could have been an alien. Because that dude was out there, man. I mean, seriously. I'd like to sit down and have tea and a joint with Da Vinci. Wouldn't that be something? I have no doubt that he had his wine, and so we would be just fine. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Billy, what's up? Yeah, exactly. So let's have a little fun. Y'all want to have a little fun? Because this one here is all illustrations, all illusions of the mind. So again, clearly there's a face in there. I mean, you can't really say, well, what are you talking about? And again, the pareidolia, yeah, okay. But you know what? We see in stereo, right? And if you have the ability to be above the perceptual consciousness of the average person, and you can find yourself existing up into those higher realms of thought. I mean, that's why people get high. That's why people get, buzzed. There's a euphoria to it. And certain things are very sacred. And they're sacred because they will elevate you if you use it. So let's just go and have some fun. Well, there's clearly an image there. And actually, there's a lot of images. Let's take this one. Again, Da Vinci. And we could spend hours on this because it's like so many meanings behind the meaning. But again, no one ever talked to Da Vinci. At least I haven't read any, one-on-one conversations. It's always makes me about these Bibles and these books, and other types of things. And when they write verbatim, and God said this, well, was that an audible voice? Or did he speak to them mentally? Well, that's channeling, but mentally, how do I know that that dude that says he heard from God really heard from God? That was the thing about Kenneth Copeland when he would come out in his meetings. I spoke to God earlier today, and God spoke to me. I look at that now, and I go, you don't say. But anyway, and you can just look at this and figure out what you want on this. This is a strange one. This is the Last Supper, where you have, the Christ, right? I don't know if he was Yahshua. I don't know what he was. What we do know at this time, this is not Jesus, because Da Vinci never knew a Jesus. He knew of an Eusus, but he didn't know about no Jesus. So how does Jesus exist? Well, the name really, no, that's bullshit. You know how I know that? Hezekiah. Sure. Jeremiah. Yeah, we don't change that. Anyway, this is a strange one. What the hell's going on there? So was this Eusus? Was he an alien? Maybe a shapeshifter. Maybe a skinwalker. Don't know. I mean, and then look at the bottom there. Pay particular attention to that. Do you see the face below the crown? I'll use my mouse to show you right here. There's a crown here, and that's another face, but yet there is a face within that face. That's some weird shit. Again, Da Vinci. And, the question when I was putting this together was that they've been here. We can't see them. They did that to us purposely. They diminished our ability, acuically, to see. Humans see in a very narrow spectrum. They're here. They walk among us. They are the leaders. Don't matter who the fuck you vote for, whether you vote for Mr. Potato Head or the blonde hair boy, it's still one and the same. In these faces, it's very evident that there is a race of these beings. Not sure what species they are, but it's very evident that they're here. And it's interesting. The old parable says, he who has eyes to see, let him see. I can tell you, when I've been under the influence of hallucinogenics, it opens your eyes. You see them. A lot of people can't handle that shit. I loved it. But anyway, I really did. I mean, I took a lot of acid, a lot of it, but the reason why I enjoyed it so much is that it was a gateway. Anyway, I digress. I've seen creatures, though. All right, this is the Mona Lisa again. Now you can say, well, again, this is just, your imagination. Yeah, it's yours too. But clearly, this individual, and I got a sense, folks, that these beings are of the highest royalty. They see themselves as that. They see themselves superior to us. They're never going to let us go. Never. Now, I don't know if their influence and control extends into the ethereal realm, that when we die, is our essences, our consciousness captured by these creatures? Or is it outside their domain? Makes you think, doesn't it? And the more you stare at him, you can see the face. It's right there. Teeth, nose, eyes, and the crown. And if you look at this particular crown, it appears to be a type of a cross that has, you can almost see a heart into it. Some could actually interpret it as wings. But nevertheless, it's there. I mean, what do you do with this? And isn't this what the grays look like? Right? The grays. I mean, are they really the genetic scientist? Is this what we're dealing with here? And this is recognized by many in the academic world, some in the esoteric, but mainland religions reject this because they can't handle the fact that their God is really one of these. Have yourself some Jesus. A little bit of Allah there. Yeah, a little bit of Muhammad. Go ahead. Seems to be that they're one and the same of this species, or whatever they may be. And from this, we got modern day, and which is what I loved about when I was in the film and video industry. You have minds that perceive this. And of course, this is the creature that was created for Independence Day. But if you read the background story, this is where they got the images. Weird shit. These are from, I believe these are from the hieroglyphs or pictographs. I can't, and I think it's Egyptian. I'm not sure. Did they know something? They said the first royal family, the first dynasty, first pharaoh was reptilian. Is this what the reptilians truly look like? Not in the sense of what we have been trained or told that they look like? Again, there is an art in photography that those that are into this type of photography know how to identify and bring out these means. I did a video on this years ago, and I'm going to pull it back up because it never occurred to me that when I was doing the video, how profound of what we were really being shown. And if you exist in a multi-dimensional existence, interdimensional, but these beings, they don't think like we do. We barely understand them. It's truly the ant and the human metaphor. In this case, we're the ants. More of Da Vinci. And then they seem to have, and I don't know if they're really into the divided sexes. In other words, I don't know if there's really male or female. They may be, in fact, truly unisex. And if you had the ability of being an inventor, a painter, I mean, D'Angelo was the same thing, um, visited by beings. How would you express it? You could never get it by the Pope, the church, because the church is actually controlled by these beings, as is every government in the world. There's no escape. I seriously doubt if there's really a quote unquote God that is above this realm that these creatures, these beings control. They seem to be pretty, how should we say, adamant about not losing power of any kind. And when humans, like you and I and others, when we begin to see through this, then we get onto their radar. We become a threat. Because if we have the ability, the cognitive faculties to be able to access the higher parts of our brain and understanding that it's not so much that it's a fact, it's the fact that there is potentially the potential of the possibility that this is in fact true. But they would far more rather that the vast majority of humans stay into a very narrow corral, easier to control. Again, and if you're in a realm that 2020 vision doesn't work, there's no matrix to actually understand what the eye would perceive, what the brain would receive. How about if we just say what consciousness would perceive to see? I mean, if you exist in multi-dimensionals, dimensions at the same time, how would you look? Again, wide, varied. We portray these creatures, these beings in the movies, in television. They permeate music. They permeate religions. They permeate, again, the politics of the world. And I have no doubt that there are lords and um, dukes, and I have a sense that, I've read enough, both from, what would be considered the conical record to outside into esoteric and occult believing that there is apparently a very well structured hierarchy. But we have this weird illusions that when we pass over to the other side, there's only going to be humans there. Yeah. And if you allow your eyes to adjust, you can see that these beings, the odds of that you could put paintings together in certain type of photography and actually come up with the distinct features of this: eyes, skull, accessories, appendages, they're there. And if you allow your mind to be opened and begin to focus in on these beings, I have no doubt, I think they knew that they were being photographed, painted, because a weird thing happens. If you stare at these long enough, it's almost like they begin to talk to you. Now, if you go around other people and you're saying that these beings are talking to you, they're going to get you on drugs. Ain't going to be the type of drugs you like either. But check that out. existing in a realm that, again, the average person seeing these would just simply, they would think this would be like the blot test, you know? They would never accept that. But if I was to go and talk to some of the old friends I knew that were script writers back in the day in Hollywood and say, you know, and they're doing it already. I mean, if you have a streaming service, just watch the shows. I believe they're in actual communication with these beings. Almost gives you the idea that they're posing, right? And what if these are the beings that are in the ships that we see, the UFOs or the UAPs or the USOs, however you want to frame it? What if we're looking at potentially royalty here in every one of these beings? Because obviously, I would probably suspect that there may be potentially trillions of this species that exist. And if they're here in our realm and have indeed captured this planet, the veil would be so thick, so dense, very few humans would ever have the ability to be able to even imagine such a structure. And the uniqueness of each picture. No one, no one picture is the same. It's interesting. I mean, once your mind becomes aware of it, then, I mean, if you believe in angels and demons, well, this is not going to be far-fetched for you. Well, some would actually say, well, there probably are. These are the angels. These are the demons. To each his own. But I believe there may be something even above those egregores. Because I got a sense that these are not just egregores, that these are actual forces, energy. I don't know if they're deities. I guess entity would be a fair term, right? And again, who knows? And I almost get this idea that, like, you know, it's the hierarchy, right? Who gets to have their picture taken. And, you know, how do you, if you have facial features that are so distorted from what we perceive a human face to be, wow, how do you, it's like, okay. And then I often think to myself, well, what kind of environment do they live in? I mean, if they have the ability to have physical features, be able to somehow or another, they've mastered this 3D level. They've mastered matter. I mean, for us, we get all hung up in our philosophy and our ideologies of what matter is, 3D, 4D. I have a feeling these beings just laugh at us. Yeah. We're like children looking at advanced calculus going, what is that? There's no doubt that there is a race of these beings that are, I'd say, more electrified. But if you're, again, when cameras capture these images, you're going, well, that looks like a pretty happy character. Looks like it's got, you know, do they have personality? I think they do. And he's saying, hey, how y'all doing? Just think how many humans see this picture. It's like, yeah, So you cross over, you happen to meet the dude. You say, hey, I saw you. Yeah. And then you got some that, may look absolutely so hideous, and they may be the kindest, most benevolent beings at all. I don't know. I mean, it's all possible. And so often, particularly in some of these, you look at these and I see a crown here where I see that open face for sure. Hmm. Again, how about this one? How would we look in there? Well, they can see us. They obviously control us, but I wonder, how we would appear if we could do physically, take our bodies and physically insert it into their reality. I'd be looking at us and go, y'all are a bunch of ugly, ugly creatures. I mean, they're fascinating. Personality, I would say so. And it's interesting on this one. So I don't know if you've seen the animation of what a virus looks like. And it looks almost like this. And then there is the remote possibility that we think of these in a very large universe, but what if their universe is actually very small, as we are? I mean, your universe only exists as far as your mind can go. What is it? Maybe if when we die that we cross over and we find out that it's not so much the infinite as it is the extreme finite. We are made up of cells, right? Trillions of them. Does each cell have consciousness in it? I mean, again, let your imagination run wild with this. This one almost has an Inca, kind of like a Mayan kind of feel for it, Mesoamerican. Maybe that's what the Inca saw. Clearly a crown on this one. Are we looking at a lord? I don't know. On this one here, the eyes are so, it's like, look into my eyes. This is another one that has that Inca feel to it. Weird. Mm. Then we get into the paintings. So, what if this is how these beings travel? What if this is their ability to shapeshift or to take on some sort of physical characteristics? It's very clear that this is, I believe, a depiction of the Sermon on the Mount, painted in the Renaissance period of time. But how did the guy in the Renaissance have an understanding of what a flying saucer is? What if this Christ thing was an alien? What if this whole construct of what we read in these books, the Bible, the Quran, whatever it is, that this is nothing more than a form of mind control of these beings? I mean, how did they know to paint this? And it's not just one. When you go through this Renaissance period, they're everywhere. How did they know? The more I look at this and the more I study into it, I'm convinced that these are all aliens. These are not human beings, or at least I'll go out so far to say they are most likely hybrids. I mean, do you think that this was a man that lived in the first century? You know, how did this is the Shroud of Tehran. But again, and you go over and if you study this and research it out, you walk away and you're just going, wait a minute. Our government is so asinine that they really think they got fucking secrets. Government ain't got no secrets. And particularly when you look at the military industrial machine, that they're hiding these beings. We know they exist. They're not hiding anything. You know what it is? They want the power. They want the benefits. They keep all the rest of us out. That day may be changing, boys. Maybe a new sheriff coming into town. Because what if what if we got together and we started making contact? Dr. Greer says it's very possible, not only possible, that it does in fact happen. And if you look at this over and over and over again, now this is more of an adaptation of the will of Yahweh, how Yahweh travels. He travels in a ship. Yeah. The Lord, Jehovah. But again, and this covers hundreds of years, centuries of where these painters did not happen to have a convention and say, well, let's just start doing all of our work. No. All over the world, different cultures, different societies, different periods of time. They're everywhere. And this one's one of those strange ones. So you have this spaceship, mothership, that is sending this beam down. And the weird thing is that if you look at these creatures here, they all have helmets on. They're winged creatures. Angels. I mean, it becomes so freaking obvious. And what if the bloodlines have contracts with these species, whatever they are? They're the ones that invented the religion to basically control humanity. Maybe this is the great experiment of the sixth race. But the thing is, they're here. They've been here. There's armadas of them right now. We can't see them. This has been done deliberately. Even our technology hasn't gotten to the point, I think it's getting close, where we're going to wake up one day and go, holy fuck. They've been here all along. Scene painted from the Crucifixion. How does the artist come up with this? This one's strange here because not only does it depict a ship, but I think it more importantly may be depicting the ship's ability to open up portals. And maybe this is how these beings travel. They don't travel great distances in space. They don't do that. They have the ability with their ships that their ships actually become fucking portals. Think about it. You wouldn't have to have a ship that would be able to need the energy, the space to sustain life, a bioorganism, because they're not bioorganisms. That their ships are really nothing more than the ability to open up space-time. And when you examine these paintings close up, I mean, come on, the guy's got the brush and the palette, you know, where's this coming from? I watch my time here. And most of these are religious paintings. And you can't deny the connection between religion and UFOs or aliens. And again, we see armadas. Yes, we see ones and twos, but in many of these paintings, there are armadas. And I don't think they went away. I think they're still there. Technology continues. They're so far ahead of us, we probably wouldn't know what the new generation of craft would look like. This is from the Incas. And they would have the ability to shapeshift into any type of race that they would need to. And all of them seem to be directly connected to the religion. And then that religion directly connects to the political structure, the hierarchy. Apparently, these beings, you can make deals with them on some of them, and they'll make you really rich. If you seek that, if you're seeking potential power, so to speak, apparently that's possible. And how many modern pictures do we see of clouds hiding craft in them? Doesn't appear to be new. Nuremberg, the great painting of some sort of freaking interstellar battle, which tells me that this concept of war may not be universal, as it is so much confined into a specific realm or dimension of beings that they brought that here. People fell dead, had the pox. There was just things that happened, crashes, which then tells me that if this painting was in fact depicting, if I was an archaeologist, I tried to maybe find this, but I have a sense they came down and recovered all the crash sites. And who knows what they put into the atmosphere. But there were ships of many different species. India, the same thing. How about the coinage? I mean, these are really old coins. So what if, in fact, the Pope, let's go back to the 7th century. They made deals. And this is just one form of saying, you humans have seen us, have known about us. You continue to refuse to accept us, but we're actually your masters. And it's not just in the West. Well, this would be considered the West, right over into South America again. You could say that's a mothership. in the Sahara Desert. What makes this one so very strange, they're floating, they're flying. So is this one of them? Are there these hybrids, whatever they are they embedded into the Vatican? Are they embedded into every Protestant religion and every government? They have their kind that are in there, and they are the overseers, the overlords that ensure that whatever the orders are and the agenda, that it is in fact carried out. How would we know? But their ships are everywhere. This one's so interesting because it identifies that there's something that we call it downloads. There is so much truth into that. I have no doubt that some of us have in fact been recipients of direct beams carrying data. Why? Well, it's what fiber optics do. We've understood now that we can code data into light. And the Chinese knew about them as well. Whether it's the Japanese, the Chinese, all in Indo-Asia, they're there. In their sacred writings, their books. And even what we would call the modern time, coming out of the Dark Ages and the Renaissance into the Industrial Age. If you read the book, The Light and the Glory, about Columbus's trip, there's a whole section in there of the UFOs when they came. So is this true representation? You have a reptilian here nursing a simian. Any truth to that? Wow. We all recognize this. There she is. I sometimes get the strange feeling that this may be a representation of Lilith. Just my opinion. And then we got these pictures. I just want to give credit. Yellow Rose of Texas, she put this out, I think it was in 2016. But these are images of the sun using the same technique that we've seen the great artists do. And this is from our sun, and which would make sense. When Patrick and I did Talking with the Planets, the sun, I always had this sense that there's more going on here than what we can imagine. But clearly, you can see the same effect. Looks strangely familiar, doesn't it? Yeah. And this is on the star. That's, you're just going, well, that's that Pareidolia thing. Well, okay. But there's another part that says maybe not. Look at that. Very distinct. This one has always been bizarre. You can see this took place on, I believe this was Stereo Core 2, yeah. 2016. The strangest one I have ever seen. And if this was a satellite anomaly, I don't know. Looks like a big old arm and hand to me. I did one on this one again back in 2016. You got the fingernails. I mean, it's all right there. But who knows, huh? And then we finish up with Mr. Charles. King Charles, excuse me. Left-hand path. And where we started. And we end it with, it's all up here. Maybe we are these beings. Maybe, I don't know. It starts getting a little distorted after a while. But there you go. I mean, I just put it together for our entertainment. But and again, everyone has their own thoughts on it. I don't know. I just know this is that it certainly seems that there's a lot of correlation, connecting of the dots that tells me, I'd be foolish to summarily dismiss this. Might be on a path to wisdom to ponder this. I mean, maybe that's what people are praying to. I mean, I know in my biblical studies, I think Jeffrey Doherty would agree on this, between God, the Lord, I mean, we're talking complex hierarchies here. We're talking dominions. We're talking rulers. We're talking, as Paul said, spirituals in high places. Did Paul see this? Was the story about him on the road to Damascus, really, did he see a Yeshua or did he see an alien? A shapeshifter? Maybe that's how the prophets work, is that these are downloads by these creatures. Now, they're hoping that you will just dismiss this and go about your way and keep yourself entertained, and no one will be any more the wiser. But if a few of you start to say, no, wait a minute, the dude has something here. He clearly showed it. I didn't do those. I just assembled it. No, no. Something's going on. Look at the madness of the world, folks. I mean, this doesn't make sense. And I can't help but not think, if these creatures were at war with one another, then we would be the highest prize to be captured. And if they can't capture all of us, then they'll divide us and they'll try to capture the smaller groups. Now, when you're dealing with 8 billion people, small groups could be 100 million or more. And think about that energy psychically that people do when you pray or when you get involved in a whatever it is. You're putting your concentration into it. Maybe these characters put this internet thing, and I keep saying, when you've got nearly 8 billion humans worshiping this thing called the internet, they interface with it continuously. Someone is on the other end siphoning off that energy. You can say that the internet does a lot of good things, but I think the more nefarious things far trump whatever goodness we may perceive out of this. Just me. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. How is the chat room doing? It seems a little slow. Is it just me? Uh-oh, did I just do what I think I just did? No, I didn't. I went, oh no. Let me go back over there. And yeah, sometimes the button goes a little bit higher. But anyway, so hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know. Be curious about what your thoughts are. Seriously, I would. Um, is it just a bunch of nonsense? Or is there really something here on? Because, you know, they're here. They ain't coming. They're here. I think they've been here all along. Again, they did this to us. They deliberately altered our ability in our visual cortex. Clever, isn't it? Maybe we would just go nuts on that. I don't know. What's up with the chat room? That's odd. Let's see. Do 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 do. That's what I thought. It froze up on the one over there. Well, anyway, who knows? Hey, Gaia, how you doing? Good to see you. And well, let me get over here. You get so lost in this, Jan. What's up, John Price? Good to see you. Anyway, Monday, you're more than welcome. Seeking Truth. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, El Capo, what's up? So, have fun with it. And we'll see each other again here. Maybe here tomorrow, may not be, I don't know. Thank you, Gaia. Danny, what's up? It's that butterfly. Yeah, that's it. You got it. You got it. Yeah, it's that red damn butterfly. It's like, what the hell? To look at the video about Jesus speaking Aramaic. I saw that. Yeah, yeah. Very interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Jessica, what's up? Yes, as she says, the info on the net has been manipulated. That's just it. Yeah. Thank you, Mary. Love one. Exactly. All right, folks, have yourself a good one. Leslie, good to see you as well. And that caused a lot of froth. Yeah, I like that. I love you folks, man. Y'all are just a good group. Hey, Nina, what's up? Good to see you, darling. Sylvia, thank you. Turn picture upside down, and the original in red child goes into the mouth of Moloch, Antichrist. See? Weird shit going on, folks. I don't care what anyone says. All right, you beautiful people, speak in favor over you. Got the love thing going right, and Nina says make sure to check out her last night show. There you go. Well, Jan, you're welcome. It was fun, wasn't it? I mean, what other better place could you spend the last hour? Yeah. All right. Much love, everyone. Until we see each other again, be good to yourself and just make one person happy, and you have changed the world. Yeah, maybe we'll just put that up their old pipe and smoke it. Yeah.